You see those big yellow machines everywhere, right? Well, when the company that makes them, Caterpillar, drops its financial results, it's a huge deal. It's not just about them, it's kind of like a health check for the entire global economy. So let's dive into their latest report, because it tells a really fascinating and honestly a kind of confusing story.
I mean, think about it. From giant mining operations to construction sites on literally every continent, CAT's equipment is what builds our world. And that's exactly why economists watch them so closely. It's pretty simple, right? If CAT is selling a ton of machines, it means people are building, mining, and producing energy. But if they're not, well, that can signal a slowdown for everybody. So yeah, how they're doing? It matters a lot.
So you look at the official word from the top, from CEO Joe Creed, and the message seems super clear. He's talking about strong results and resilient demand. Sounds great, right? Like everything is just humming along perfectly. But, and this is a big but, as you're about to see, that headline doesn't even begin to tell the whole story.
Okay, first things first, let's talk about the good news, because there really is a lot of it, and it all kicks off with one absolutely massive, record-shattering number. Get this, $17.6 billion. And that's not for a year, that's for a single quarter. We're talking an all-time record here. In the company's entire almost 100-year history, they've never sold more in a 3-month period. Just an absolutely mind-blowing performance.
And to put that record into perspective, it represents a full 10% jump from this exact time last year. That shows that demand for their gear isn't just strong, it's growing at a seriously impressive clip. So, record sales, strong growth, everything's looking amazing. Or is it?
And this is where our story takes a really interesting turn. Because once you look past those amazing, record-breaking sales, you find another number, one that just doesn't quite seem to add up. This is the real puzzle of the quarter.
Okay, this is where it gets weird. You've got sales and revenues shooting up by a solid 10%. Awesome. But then you look at their operating profit, and it actually went down by 3%. So think about that. More money than ever is coming in the front door, but somehow less of it is actually sticking around as profit.
And that brings us to the million-dollar question, or in this case, the billion-dollar question. It just feels wrong, doesn't it? How is that even possible? Well, this is the mystery we're going to solve right now, by following the money to see exactly where it all went. All right, to crack this case, we got to look a little deeper into the numbers. And luckily for us, Caterpillar gives us a very specific chart that basically lays out all the clues.
All right, so the answer is hiding right here in this chart. Now, I know it looks a little complicated, but it's actually pretty simple. It's called a waterfall chart, and it tells a story. You start on the left with last year's profit. All those green bars, those are the good guys, the things that made profit go up. And the red bars, those are the bad guys, the things that dragged it down. All the way on the right, that's where we ended up this year. See? Simple.
Now, we don't need to get lost in every single detail here. We just need to zero in on those two big red bars. They are the main culprits responsible for completely wiping out all the gains from those record sales.
So culprit number one, and it's a big one, a whopping $686 million in higher manufacturing costs. And Caterpillar is pretty clear about what's to blame: tariffs. They made everything from steel to imported parts way more expensive. It just goes to show, all that geopolitical stuff you hear about, it has a very real, very expensive impact on the bottom line.
All right, our next culprit has a really fancy name: unfavorable price realization. But don't let the jargon fool you. It's actually a super simple problem. It just means their own costs were going up so fast they couldn't raise the prices on their machines enough to cover it all. It's like, imagine your rent goes up by $200, but you only get a $100 raise. You're still losing money, right? Well, that exact problem cost Caterpillar another $191 million.
And this really shows you the core problem in a nutshell. Look back at that chart. Selling more equipment, that green bar, added a cool $700 million in profit. But just those two cost factors we talked about, manufacturing and pricing, added up to nearly $900 million in the red, completely erasing all the hard-earned gains from their record-breaking sales.
But here's the thing. This story of rising costs and shrinking profits, it wasn't the same across the whole company. Not even close. When you break Caterpillar down into its three main parts, you find one division that actually managed to defy the trend and post some incredible results.
And this chart says it all. You can see their construction business and their resource business, that's mostly mining, both took a pretty big hit on profit. But then look over at energy and transportation. Whoa, that's a totally different story.
Profits there absolutely soared by 17%.
This division was the absolute star of the show. Sales and profit both jumped by a really healthy 17%. So, what was the secret sauce? Well, two big things. First, huge demand from oil and gas for things like turbines. And second, and this is a big one, a massive, massive surge in demand for power generation. Why? Think about all the new data centers needed to power the global AI boom. They need a ton of power, and Caterpillar is selling them the engines to make it. This one division really helped keep the whole company's numbers afloat.
So, all of this brings us to the big picture and the question of what happens next. This quarter really couldn't have defined the battle lines for Caterpillar's future any more clearly.
If you take away just one thing from all this, it's that this whole report boils down to a simple fight. You've got this powerful, record-breaking customer demand on one side and these relentless rising global costs on the other. And for now, on the profit line at least, the costs are winning.
But there is one more number in this report, and it's a truly staggering one. And it tells us that the demand side of this equation might be about to get even stronger.
And here it is, a record backlog of almost $40 billion. Now, what's a backlog? It's basically all the confirmed orders from customers for machines that haven't even been built yet. It's like a crystal ball for future sales. And right now, that crystal ball is showing a number that has never, ever been higher.
And that leaves us with the big question, doesn't it? The demand is there. It's massive. It's bigger than ever. We know that. But with this incredible tailwind of future sales pushing them forward, can Caterpillar finally get a handle on its rising costs? Can they finally turn those record sales into record profits? That, right there, is the story we'll all be watching next quarter.